their movements and with disturbing ease executed counterattacks that made the quickest of his raiders seem like spawnlings. Its arms whipped and tossed the weapon it held like a toy between them. Slowly and quietly, Zort stepped away from the melee, ducking back down the hall. He would let his crew take the glory on this one. Eventually the beast would tire and die, just like all the rest who inhabited the ship, but he would not be the one to make it happen. That's why a captain had a crew, after all. The man stopped when the motion did, the last creature now in two pieces on the floor. He winced as he raised a hand and felt the burns on his skin. They covered his chest and back with thin lances of pain and branded him with dark dashes to match. He slowed his breathing, taking heavy, deep gasps of the oxygen-rich air as he surveyed where he stood. Aside from the burns, he was covered in grime and guts among the corpses of the fallen creatures. The air smelled of death. He turned to look at the surviving crew member and expected fear. The human found none. Her song was of debt and praise, of gratitude and pride. As the crew members struggled to rise, a hand reached out, and it wasn't long before the human found himself walking through a spaceship with a singing alien on his back. At first they had moved slowly through the halls, checking every corner, but soon they were moving quickly. The enemy didn't seem interested in springing traps or setting ambushes. They were just blind chasing and killing things when they found them. That was a good thing because it kept them from realizing someone was returning the favor. His new companion hummed with renewed energy as her tail swept out at each intersection and provided direction to travel. A song called out to surviving crew members, but there were few, and more often than not they ran into the boarding party instead. On 3 separate occasions the human had to retreat and set his companion down to fight, and on 3 separate occasions he lived to retrieve her again. Each time he was a little bit slower. Pain had begun to set in, and his endurance beginning to fade. At this point he had killed around 20 of the creatures attacking the crew, and every time he thought the last of them was dead, another group was around the corner, feasting on the crew members. Sometimes they were still alive when it was happening. Of the ones that had survived, few were able to do much but lean against the wall. Their features were etched with pain and sorrow. Still, the one on his back continued to sing, and those capable continued to gather. Though he was unsure of the exact direction, it was becoming clear to him that they were heading towards what would be the front end of the ship. Behind the ship beast and his singing companion were 5 crew members, each armed with a light rifle picked from a fallen enemy. These were the only ones who had been left able-bodied enough to walk and determined enough.